Early voting starts today in Arizona, but if you don't live there, why should you care? Well, for one, it's a state that could help decide the presidential election. It's also home to a pretty high-stakes Senate race. Here's Senator Martha McSally and challenger Mark Kelly in a pretty contentious debate last night.
$57 million that he raised from some of the most extreme left-wing people in the country in order to then endorse and bankroll these individuals who are now in office with these ideas that are dangerous for Arizona.
The organization that Senator McSally is referring to is named after my wife, Gabby Giffords. It's named Giffords. Gabby was injured, shot in the head in 2011.
Senator, the question was, are you proud of your support for President Trump?
I'm proud to be fighting for Arizona every single day.
Is that a yes or a no for President Trump?
Putting legislation on President Trump's desk.
NBC News political reporter Vaughn Hillyard joining us now from Maryville, Arizona. Vaughn, polls are open there. Early voting is happening. So let's talk about two things there. First, that Senate race. What are voters there telling you about that debate and about how they feel about this one?
This is a heck of a Senate race because we're talking about the U.S. Senate majority being on the line here. And, you know, if you are Republicans, Arizona used to be a place that you were not all that concerned about when it comes to the U.S. Senate seats, a long time held by U.S. Senator John Kyle and John McCain and Jeff Flake. And yet, 2 years ago, you saw Republican Martha McSally lose her Senate bid to Kyrsten Sinema. She ended up getting appointed to fill the Senate seat that was vacated by John McCain, and that's why she's now running again, this time against Democrat Mark Kelly, who, of course, is the former astronaut and husband of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. And that's why this race is so intriguing, because suddenly you see Mark Kelly consistently up by high single digits here in the state, running on this idea of kind of being the Western Arizona independent. Well, Martha McSally has consistently tried to push, particularly last night in the debate, that essentially, as she referred to them, his wingmen would be U.S. House Democratic members, repeatedly referencing in the debate last night the likes of Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. You know, this is the type of campaign in which she was trying to set him up as just being part of the left, of Chuck Schumer, she name-checked, of Bernie Sanders, she name-checked. But this is a race that is coming down to the wire. As you said it here, folks are voting right now, today, and they will be the next 4 weeks, and that is why it's imperative that that Martha McSally begin to change the trajectory of this race. The question is, was last night enough for her and her campaign?
All right, so Vaughn, you have been spending a whole lot of time in Maricopa for our County to County series because it's a place where it looks like some older and some suburban voters are leaning towards Joe Biden. What are you hearing from voters today about the presidential race?
Early voting is new here in the state of Arizona. When I say early voting, I mean coming and casting your vote in person. Folks are going to have 28 days to do it. What is not new is mail-in voting here in the state. This is a place that has a deep history of voting by mail. Back in 2018 midterms, 78% of voters here in the state of Arizona voted by mail. This runs back to the early 90s. You ask, what am I hearing from voters? You know, Maricopa County was a place that was long held by Republicans. But then suddenly you saw in 2018, Kyrsten Sinema, the Democrat, beat Martha McSally here in Maricopa County. 4 years ago, Donald Trump won by about 4 percentage points here in Maricopa County. He won statewide by 3.5 percentage points. The saying kind of goes with where Maricopa County goes, the state goes. And that's why it's concerning in these poll numbers for not only Martha McSally, but also Donald Trump, that they are down by as much as double digits in Maricopa County. 60% of the electorate is here. And you are seeing already this morning hundreds of folks that have come in behind me here to cast their ballots. And it's not even so much Democratic turnout, but it's in places like this, Scottsdale, that used to be conservative neighborhoods, and you could still say are conservative, but have shown a willingness to vote Democrat here in recent elections. And when you are seeing high turnout in these areas, it's a reason that Democrats believe that there is early enthusiasm to come and make sure that their votes are counted here just 27 days ahead of Election Day, Allison.
Oh, I knew you'd get that count in there, Vaughn. We didn't give you time to do it the other day, so thank you so much. Let me ask you about the process, because we've talked a little bit about the election itself. We've talked about the election itself. Let's talk a little bit about the process. You said early this morning you saw some 2 million ballots being loaded onto trucks. I know you said Arizona does have a long history of mail-in voting, but talk to us about how they're handling a different situation this year.
Yeah, this morning as the sun rose up in Arizona, we went down to a warehouse down the road here where they were shipping out more than 2 million ballots that have been processed and sending them over to the U.S. Postal Service. And from there, the U.S. Postal Service over the next 48 hours are delivering those 2 million plus ballots to Maricopa County voters. This is a very high-tech system here. You know, the gentleman there who has been running this particular contracting election services company, Runbeck Election Services, he was walking me through the process, and you know, they're scanning, taking literally a photo of every ballot so that they are able to capture and ensure that they were processing a ballot for, let's say your mom, right, requests an early ballot. There is a record that a ballot was made for her and that ballot went into this pallet here. And it's actually the same place where the ballots, when you mail your ballot back, are going to be returned to the same location. And this technology will then go and capture a photograph of your ballot being returned, essentially evidence, right, if things were to go awry, that your ballot was sent out and that your ballot was returned. And there is essentially a barcode attached to every voter. And so this is not just, you know, some jar of jelly beans and they're throwing jelly beans out into the neighborhood and everybody's running back with their jelly beans. Every jelly bean has a barcode and has an image captured to it that is associated with that voter. And that is why the governor here, a Republican governor, Doug Ducey, just this summer, he said he was proud of Arizona's early voting system here. And it is encouraging because they're also going to begin counting these ballots 2 weeks early. They are hoping on election night, potentially, unless the margin is very, very thin, that we could know the winners in most races, even potentially the White House and the Senate races here, because the state has given this a shot for now literally 3 decades. And just 2 years ago, they were able to work out some kinks and realize that in order to verify signatures, they needed to get that process of verifying the signatures 2 weeks out instead of 1 week out. Complicated, but in talking to voters, that's why they're like, we want to come and be part of this process, make sure that we know our vote is going to count here come Election Day, Allison.
Yeah, Vaughn, it's a concern we've been hearing from so many voters. They so want to make sure that their vote is processed, that it counts, that there aren't any hang-ups. Vaughn Hillyard in Arizona, always great to see you.
Thanks, my friend. Take care.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.